Hello, in this video, I'll be going over how Americans rely on intensive agriculture for their main source of food. I will be going to my notes to stay on track. So to start off, I picked this topic more so than just about what we eat. It's also about how it affects our planet and our convenience, our independence, and our success. So what is intensive agriculture? It's about growing huge amounts of food through advanced technology, fertilization, the irrigation systems, and also about heavy machinery. It's mostly about crops like corn, soybeans, wheat, especially like mostly in the Midwest area. This approach it leans a lot on environmental resources like fertile land, especially in places like Iowa and other states in the Midwest. It mainly relies on a lot of water, fossil fuels, and heavy machinery to make all the fertilization work. Now, without these resources, essentially cranking out all this food so fast it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be possible. But there's always going to be a downside to it. In the documentary King Corn, it really shows how corn farming relies on the chemical fertilization, which in particular is the nitrogen, synthetic nitrogen, which can run off into the waterways, which obviously will cause pollution and even maybe dead zones in a real bad case in places like the Gulf of Mexico, to be specific. Now, growing is just one type of what is it? Growing is just one type of the crops. Is also monocropping as well, which wears out the soil. And this kind of growing isn't really sustainable. Now, as far as how this impacts our social structure, one of the big issues is the gap between the consumer and the food producers. Most Americans, we don't have any clue of where our food is coming from unless we do some research about it. Obviously, the labels don't really tell you what's actually inside of it, how it's made. We move really far away from how it was back in the day where we had small farmers. Nowadays, it's more like an industry where it's big agribusinesses, which this change affects a lot of the rural communities and also a lot of job opportunities for the small farmers and just the small town folk. It also affects their education as well in the farming areas. Now, this also obviously messes up our values and beliefs. For example, a lot of Americans, we love convenience and we love speed, and intensive agriculture supports that, or it's perfect for us. We get cheap food fast, and it's usually like stuff like fast food restaurants. You got soda. What else? That's all I can think of right now. But it's essentially a lot of it is made of stuff like corn, which is, like I said, shown in the video, King Corn. You can also see the process from the corn where it goes from the field to the factory to the fast food restaurants, which is a pretty cool video. Now we also see how our beliefs and success are independent on how the farms operate. Usually, like the bigger the factory is, the bigger the farm is, the better, because the government subsidies usually support it and usually help out with those kind of factories, because it's all about selling more, making more, and growing more, and just doing it as fast as possible. So it's a win-win for the factories and the government. Now, in comparison to the video, patterns of sustenance, it basically shows how the net silk, they have a much closer relationship with their environment, where they rely on the sustainable practices, like using all the agriculture around them. It's more individual, like, or the individual usually like helps out a lot more, and everybody's sharing with each other. Versus like in America, they usually just use all the resources and they don't really care too much on how it's affected in the aftermath. And we try to control it, which usually we end up paying a price for it. Like as we see, our environment pays the price for it, and then we pay the price. So it's not the best situation, but it's what we do. It's what we're good at right now. But to sum it up, we do practice intensive agriculture, which is really dependent on the environment, and like I said, it harms the environment in return. This way of producing food, it also affects our social systems, and that's pretty much it. The King Corn video shows how it's not just food; it's a reflection of who we are and what we value. That's pretty much it.